Welcome back to 1075, where we play your favorite selected jazz and blues music. Time now is 7:25 p.m. It is a cool, sunny evening, and I hope that you're out there happy, healthy, productive, and staying out of trouble. Funny story, I was coming in to work today, and I saw an advertisement that said, if you are watching this billboard, that means it has worked. Call this number below to advertise here. I said, whoever came up with that and posted it on a billboard, they're a smart person. I tell you, some of the things that people come up with are absolutely genius. I know you all want to hear more jazz and blues, but I'm going to go on a little monologue here. We just gonna talk, okay? You know, it's interesting. This radio station used to play hip-hop, rap music, but the reason why this station does not play hip-hop or rap music anymore is because the demand for that type of music has really dwindled over the years. Back in the day, 90s, 2000s, there was a lot of demand for that type of music. But as the years went on, 2010s went on, demand has really gone down. And if you ask me what the reason was, it's because people just don't want to hear that type of music. They don't want to hear negativity. They don't want to hear music that glorifies many of the negative things in life. They want to hear music that relaxes them, that calms them down. We live stressful lives. Day after day, we go to work, we go to school, we have families, right? We have all these different obligations, all these errands, all these tasks that we must do throughout the day. And people just want to relax. They want to hear music that calms them down, puts them in a positive mood, puts them in a state where they're not worried about different things. They're not, they don't have the negative energy being fed to them through the airwaves, right? Because we know, especially nowadays, the rap music that's out nowadays, it's absolutely ridiculous. If you compare the rap music from the 1980s in its heyday to the rap music for today, it's totally different. Just look at the most popular rap songs out nowadays. They're absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you. Look online. Look at the most popular rap songs of 2024. And what I want you to do is just read the lyrics in those songs without the music, without the beat, altering your mental, altering your energy while listening to this music. Just read the actual lyrics, no music, no nothing, you will be disgusted. You will be horrified as to what is being fed to the masses. And we know that this music especially targets young people. What are they doing? Why are they putting this music out there? I have my suspicions as to why they put this type of music out there, but this is why this station has decided to go in a different direction. We have decided at this radio station to play jazz music, blues music, music that calms you down after the long day at work, calms you down after having to drive an hour to and from work, calms you down after having, that day that just seems like it could never end. Everything is going wrong that day. You tune into this station, you're going to get joy, happiness, relaxation, calmness. Okay. And so that's why the executives decided to play strictly jazz and blues on this station. Now we may incorporate other types of genres that relax you, calm you down, but for now, mainly jazz and blues. And I am your host. As I go on this monologue here, I want to tell you an interesting story. As I have expressed to you all before, I am a truck driver. I do this part-time, but I'm a truck driver full-time. I was driving north, just outside of Dallas, north on US 75, going into Oklahoma one time, and I think this was either right before I got to Denison or right after I got to Denison, right after I passed through Denison, very close to the Texas-Oklahoma state line. It's about 1:30 in the morning, pitch black outside. I'm riding up US 75 going into Oklahoma, and out of nowhere I come up on someone very close to the roadway. Now, they didn't have any sort of light, they didn't have any sort of reflective gear on or anything, and I want to say I believe they were riding a bicycle just in the emergency lane of US 75, and I had to get over, because when you've ever driven on a rural interstate, rural highway with no lights, you're not going to see someone until you come right up on them. Now, I got over to the left real fast and I was able to avoid them, but what they did was quite dangerous. And so I want to remind you all to be safe out there. And word of advice, don't ever ride a bike on a highway, an interstate. It's very unsafe. Now, perhaps this person had no other form of transportation, or perhaps this person was just in a situation where they had to get to Oklahoma as soon as possible, and they had no other way to get there. But I do want to remind you all to definitely be safe out there. Be safe out there. And yeah, I've told a few people, and it just goes to show you cannot see people until you're right up on them. If it's nighttime and there is no light out. So I just want you all to be safe out there. My message from me to you, be safe out there. So also, this radio station runs on a pretty small budget. We don't have millions and millions of dollars like the big corporate-owned radio stations. And so we try not to be 100% listener supported, but sometimes we do have to come on air and ask for a little donation. So whether it's $1, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, $20, whatever you can give, we would greatly appreciate it if you donated to our station. We want to remain independent. We don't want to rely on corporate sponsors, because when you rely on corporate sponsors, they have the ability to dictate what you can and can't play on air, what you can and can't say on air. The topics that you decide to talk about can be dictated by whether you are or aren't getting that corporate dollar. And so that's why we come to the listeners. We try to be grassroots and ask for support from the people. And you all have done an excellent job of sending in your donations. And of course, our radio station is forever grateful for any donation that you send. Now, we never want to make it seem like there's some sort of obligation to donate. But all we say here at the station is that we would be so happy and so grateful if you donated, because we don't want to rely on the corporate sponsors. Most of the radio stations on air today, they're not listener supported. They're not supported by the people. They're supported by some big old corporation telling them what to do, telling them what to say, telling them what they can and cannot talk about. We don't do that here. We can't do that here, because that would take away from the integrity of this radio station. That would take away the whole meaning of having a grassroots, listener-supported jazz and blues radio station. Small little radio station. We don't want to get too big. We don't want to get, huge amounts of money, millions and millions of dollars from someone outside of the people. Okay? We support free speech. We support not being told what to do, what to say. Okay? And so, if you would like to donate, we will give out that website later on in the program. And so, I really thank you all for the support. I really thank you all for doing what you do, because look at our station. If you're watching this stream on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or what do they call it, X now? Remember, I'm old school. I'm an old man. I'm old school. I just call it Twitter. Well, I'm not that old, but I'm old, I'm an old soul, as they say. Twitter, X, whatever. These social media sites, they come up with fancy names. TikTok, if you're watching the stream on any of these different platforms, as you can see, we got a cheap little station. Our microphone, we did invest a little money in. Our microphone cost about $135, which is a little up there for a microphone, but it ain't the most expensive microphone. But look at the background. It's just a little old studio. We don't have some fancy studio with fancy equipment and all these different soundboards and this and that, and we don't have all that. We have a small little shed where we make this production happen. Remember, the corporation used to support this station back when they played the hip hop and the rap music and all that negativity. The corporation was behind this radio station. They funded this radio station. They were not grassroots. They were not supported by the people. They were supported by the corporation. And so they had the fancy equipment and the fancy studio and the people on their personalities made millions of dollars and all that old nonsense. We don't do that over here. We don't compromise our integrity for a measly old dollar. Okay? We do what we have to do, but we do it with integrity, honesty, trustworthiness. Okay? When we decided to switch over to blues, jazz, music that calms you and relaxes you, the corporation, they were not behind us anymore. And so we said, okay, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you behind you as you leave. Because we don't care. We know that we do right by the people. We know what's really needed out here. We know what type of music is absolutely needed in this stressed out society, in this society that has all of these problems. We know that relaxing music is needed. Okay? And we do the best we can over here to do that. Okay? That is why any sort of corporation isn't allowed in our space. You want to hear a corporate-owned station? Well, turn your dial to another station. But over here, you're going to get the real. And I'm actually considering starting a talk show where grassroots people come on and speak their mind, speak the real, without any sort of issues with what they can and can't say. Okay? But you know what? we gonna get back to the blues and the jazz. Because I know y'all don't want to hear me speak forever and go on my little monologue. Okay? So we gonna get back to that good old jazz, that good old blues. And we're gonna play a song here that you may like. Thank you for listening to my little monologue. But back to the music.